Hey, move those routers there. Oh, hey, it's me, your data center. And as you can hear, I'm making some big changes in here because AI is making some bigger ones everywhere. So I took a little trip to Nokia. Super fast routers, optical interconnect, fully automated, the whole data center networking portfolio, and they deliver. That's them. Hey, Nokia, right on time.
Get your data center AI ready. Someday is here with Nokia.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, move those routers there. Oh, hey, it's me, your data center. And as you can hear, I'm making some big changes in here because AI is making some bigger ones everywhere. So I took a little trip to Nokia. Super fast routers, optical interconnect, fully automated, the whole data center networking portfolio, and they deliver. That's them. Hey, Nokia, right on time.
Get your data center AI ready. Someday is here with Nokia.
You're listening to Me and Paranormal You with your host, Ryan Singer. It's more fun to believe. Third year bonus.
Are off to the races. Welcome to Me and Paranormal You. This is your buddy Ryan Singer. I am the host of this program, of this podcast, this paranormal podcast, this esoteric exploration, this supernatural show. So here we go. Now, you might be wondering, what have I gotten myself into? If you're listening to this, well, that's a very good question. I've often asked myself that same very thing. What have I gotten myself into for the last 12 plus years? We are exploring anything that's outside the normal here. This is the third year bonus, which means it's a solo show. So I will be reading some excerpts from the Disclosure Project Briefing Document 2025 by Dr. Stephen Greer, a sensitive and confidential document that was given to the incoming administration before the inauguration in an effort to recommend strategy for disclosing UFOs and alien life and their true nature and the true intent of what they're doing here, flying around in our skies, in our dimension, etc., etc. Now, having said that, let's read an excerpt here that is described as, well, there's a really interesting section here. Deceptive indications and warnings, false flag operations. Right, I'm talking about the fake alien invasion that will be perpetrated potentially, or at least that's the plan, as a false flag event to make people be afraid of UFOs and aliens, which is being perpetrated by the Shadow government, which is a worldwide organization apparently that is been reverse engineering all of this stuff with secret crash retrieval programs for decades and decades and decades, which has now been disclosed in front of Congress, or in front of Congress. And also I've uploaded that document actually on the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ryan Singer, or you can go search Me and Paranormal You, or just my name, Ryan Singer, over on patreon.com. You'll find the page. And a lot of that stuff is open to the public, or you could be a free patron. You don't even have to pay money to get a lot of the stuff. Some of the, what I think is important information for people to have for free. The stuff that I get my hands on, or I don't get my hands on it like I don't meet someone in a park and make a swap. It's stuff that's just out on the internet that a lot of people don't spend time looking to get because they're not as involved or immersed in this stuff as, say, someone like myself or other people are. So I get my hands on it because I'm always looking for it. and it's available to everyone, but I'm trying to make it easier for you to get your hands on it, and that's why I'm reading excerpts from this book, because you can buy it from the website. It's like a $40 thing, but how about I just give you some stuff that I come upon in this book that is really fascinating, which the whole thing is so far. Anyway, let's get into it. So let me see here. Let me make sure. This is section 2 of this thing. I mean, there are copies of, official documents in here, right? And there are some names that have been redacted for privacy's sake. So I just ate a banana and I'm drinking a soda. So it's like, this is like the worst 2 things you could do before you're supposed to be talking into a microphone. But here we are, you know what I mean? Here we are, 12 years later, still doing these things. Deceptive indications and warnings, false flag operations. Beginning by at least 1953, there's a CIA document below that references this. The UFO subject was determined to be valuable for, quote, psychological warfare operations, end quote. By 1955, human advanced technologies and anti-gravity systems allowed for covert operatives staging false alien abductions, mutilations, and other actions which would support the false alien threat narrative. The goal of these operations is to eventually effect a false disclosure regarding UFOs that would lead to an overt global military conflict, which would only benefit and enrich the illegal government/corporate stakeholders currently keeping the subject secret. Capability is fully operational to stage a false alien attack on Earth that would be completely convincing as, quote, alien, end quote, to the public, the media, and virtually all government leaders. This constitutes the gravest national security and global security threat and remains unknown by our leaders. For this reason, top priority must be gaining control of and standing down those systems. Key documents in this section include Carol Rosen quoting Wernher von Braun. There's a CIA document on psychological warfare value by Walter Smith in 1953. There is a Strategic Studies Institute, January 8th, 1955, simulated alien invasion. Richard Doty transcript on faked alien abductions. Dr. Jacques Vallée, astrophysicist, entry in his book Forbidden Science, admitting he has a CIA document showing alleged alien abductions in South America are being carried out by humans. There's a drawing of a PLF from Witness TE, attempted abduction of military whistleblower by fake man-made alien. The witness account of an attempted fake abduction. Richard Doty's commentary on the Cash Landrum case illustrates using a man-made catastrophe as a false alien event. Illegal government UFO false flag category and disclosure project, Intelligence Archive, DPIarchive.com, which is a website you can see a lot of these documents, if not all of them. Okay, so I think I've mentioned that website on here before, and I'm sure I'll link it again. Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. Here's a quote from Wernher von Braun. The infamous Wernher von Braun, who started the space program here. He didn't start it, but he was in Nazi Germany, and he was relocated to the United States and was in charge of the whole space program, essentially. This is his quote. He's the father of modern rocketry, according to many people, speaking to Disclosure Project witness Carol Rosen on the lies surrounding the need for space-based weapons systems. There is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build these space-based weapon systems. The first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at the time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids. And then he would repeat to me over and over and quote, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. So, according to Werner von Braun, apparently essentially on his deathbed, he said this to Carol Rosen, that the last card in the game to be played would be the extraterrestrial threat. And that's seemingly where we are right now. When you look at the congressional hearings and you have people like Lou Elizondo, beating the national security drum. That guy is such a spook, right? He is just he's a government man. He's one of these guys who loves guns and stuff. I'm just not on board with Lou Elizondo as a guy we need to be paying attention to for real information. And you might be saying, well, Richard Doty is a proven disinformation agent. Yes, and apparently he's been flipped, right, years ago. But yes, but why would Richard? What? I don't know. What service does it provide to anyone for Doty to be talking about the shadowy government or whatever, faking alien invasions? I mean, to what end does that serve anybody? So, so there's copies of these documents from the CIA in here. I'm going to read from one of the documents from the Strategic Studies Institute. This is the document that was referenced earlier, I think. So, well, this is from 1995, January 8th, 1995, Strategic Studies Institute. Okay. Instructions. Wow. Okay. Well, the ingredients continued. Imported East Bloc mercenaries and military equipment, imported foreign national scientists, a controlled and compliant media, decentralized U.S. government control, and induced crime wave. Instructions. Raise one or two, and for reference, again, this is a document showing the false flag initiative of faked alien abductions by military and covert groups. Number one. Raise one or two generations of children under the auspices of government-approved satanic cults, such as Colonel Michael Aquino's Temple of Set. Violent sexual, physical, and psychological abuse of these children over a period of 15 years will produce generations of disassociative automatons who will comply with instructions in obedient, unquestioning fashion. Their required adherence to cult tenets precludes any consideration of laws governing U.S. society generally. Cult-programmed, quote-unquote, graduates, among other things, will be expected to participate in contrived UFO abduction scenarios. Number two, the music is coming in. That's a dark one to go on a break. Well, it's not going to necessarily get any lighter because number two is about creating a global UFO cult. So we're going to be back with that. We got to take a quick break. We got to keep the veritable lights on over here in the man cave. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer. $3 a month. No commercials ever. I'll probably do this one commercial free because we didn't put out an episode in the proper quote-unquote work week, which is a contrived idea to, is the work week part of this? Is this part of this? We're not going to get into the conspiratorial nature of life in general because, I don't go down those rabbit holes. But we're going to be right back with some more about the Disclosure Project and some of these classified documents. We'll be right back.
Hey, move those routers there. Oh, hey, it's me, your data center. And as you can hear, I'm making some big changes in here because AI is making some bigger ones everywhere. So I took a little trip to Nokia. Super fast routers, optical interconnect, fully automated, the whole data center networking portfolio, and they deliver. That's them. Hey, Nokia, right on time.
Get your data center AI ready. Someday is here with Nokia.
And we're back. We are reading from and by we I mean me, but we're all connected. So we are reading from the Disclosure Project briefing document 2025 that I got from Dr. Greer's website. So, we read number one. Let's get into number two here. Create a global UFO cult. Again, this is a document detailing the false flag initiative of faked alien abductions by military and covert groups, and like kind of the recipe for what needs to be done to pull off such a thing, by the Strategic Studies Institute, which is just like a think tank for like, what were scenarios where people, it's just like, what is it? The worst of all imaginations. Number 2, create a global UFO cult, which will involve the abduction of citizens so as to foster an illusion that this Earth is facing an extraterrestrial invasion. UFO abductees of preference will have an expertise in computer technologies, since that expertise will be required in future technocratic RMA scenarios. Use of experimental drugs, holographic projection capabilities, directed energy technologies, induced auditory input, experimental aircraft and special effects, costuming, and stagecraft, among other things, will be used to persuade abductees of the reality of their circumstances. Official denials regarding these events will employ reverse psychology to ensure that all such denials are taken as official confirmation of an imminent and or ongoing extraterrestrial invasion. UFO abductees will be persuaded to worship their anticipated extraterrestrial conquerors in cult-enforced religious fashion. UFO cult networks will be controlled by U.S. intelligence to limit infiltration and ensure that dissidents do not disrupt UFO cult long-term agendas. Uncontrollable dissidents will be assassinated, preferably by directed energy means. Dissociative satanic cult graduates will handle all such executions, i.e., when not actively lending logistical and theatrical support to UFO abduction operations. Number 3, directed energy surveillance and weapons technologies of all types will be used for purposes of spreading fear and confusion in the population at large under deniable circumstances, for eliminating persons deemed adversarial to U.S. national security interests, and for spotting, assessing, and manipulating potential recruits to RMA causes. Does this ring of the drone thing happen? That happened not that long ago. Does that drone situation sound familiar suddenly? I mean, just simply having drones in the sky, people were panicking, right, to a certain degree. I mean, I didn't see anybody running around, buying up all the milk and bread. The news were fostering it. But people were just kind of like, what's going on with the drones? That was mostly what it was. Nobody was freaking out and setting themselves afire because there was drones in the sky. So let's keep that in mind. Number 4, neurocybernetics and other psychotechnologies will be used to sow confusion and hypochondria in the population at large. These symptoms and effects produced by these and other directed energy technologies will parallel the effects produced by various microbes, viruses, and chemical imbalances, thus compelling a large segment of society to seek medical intervention, which in turn will be a basis for their being used for medical experimentation under, quote, voluntary, end quote, circumstances. Psychiatrists and psychologists will play an important role in these experiments, particularly when denying the efficacy of neurocybernetics psychotechnologies is concerned. Citizens complaining of, quote, hearing voices, end quote, will be used as a basis for generously government-funded schizophrenic-related brain research, since comprehension and control of the human brain is critical. So, this is foreboding information and documentation. Indeed, who would write these things as like, this is how you do it. This is what I think you should do if you were going, or this is what I think they would do. And these are the, spelling it out literally. It's just, who wrote this document? What psychopath, right? Okay, so this is an excerpt from Richard Doty Air Force Office of Special Investigations interview with Dr. Greer in July 2016 regarding the governmental faked alien abductions. And just to clarify, over the top style, this is secret government stuff. This isn't like the word government has become such a bad word because of a propaganda campaign for 150 years from the conservative right that it's mind-blowing and it's maddening to someone like me, who obviously identifies as a progressive and believes that the government is not out to get you. That indeed is not what the goal of the government is, out to get us. Okay, moving on. Dr. Greer, have you heard of any projects that deal with ET simulations? What I'm referring to here, there have been some contact events. Doty, one you're referring to, I have sources, was actually not ET. There was a staged event by military or special operations to look ET because this woman had seen something classified. Dr. Greer, have you heard of those sort of operations? Doty, yeah, but I'm not sure if, but it's a good question. The false INW, we did do that. Yes, OSI did that. There was a special group out of the 7602 Air Intel Wing at Fort Belvoir. They came out and did that. They had these people that had maybe some sort of defects, anatomical defects that were brought in to fool people and thinking they're aliens. Yeah, I can't give you any specifics because the program is still classified. They're probably still doing it. I wouldn't doubt it. They were still doing it. Yes, I interviewed a number of men in those special operations. Yeah, there was a special, highly classified operation that occurred in Tacoma, Washington. I'm saying maybe 86 or 87. It was at the Naval Base in Seattle. I think it was Whidbey Island Naval Air Station, I think. But anyways, it was a naval air station up there where these civilians got onto the base and got into something. They saw something they weren't supposed to see. This group came out and went into their home and scared the dickens out of them. Greer, staged an alien event? Doty, exactly. It's very sensitive. Very sensitive. Let's see here. We've got, there's some interesting drawings here. In an entry dated Thursday, the 26th of March, 1992, Jacques Vallée, in his book Forbidden Science 4, writes, I have secured a document confirming that the CIA simulated UFO abductions in Latin America, Brazil, and Argentina as psychological warfare experiments. So there's actually a drawing here of an artist rendering of PLF attempting to abduct whistleblower TE. And there's, yes, it would look like what we'd perceive to be maybe a gray alien, but its skin has been cut open, and you can see that it's a robot or a computer type thing here. Now, PLF, let me get to let me see, I think where is it? Where it tells you what all the acronyms mean. Let's see here. Sorry about this. I'm gonna have to find this. But what's interesting about this entire document is I should read you the recommended address to the world regarding UAP and NHI, which is unidentified aerial phenomena and non-human intelligence, right? I can't believe or I don't know if I've read this already. We'll probably do that here. Well, I could read this now. So this is the recommended address to the world in this document. My fellow Americans and all the citizens of Earth, it has come to our attention that extraterrestrial civilizations of great technological advancement have been visiting the Earth for some time. While their presence likely dates from very ancient times, the modern era since World War II has seen a large increase in sightings and interactions with these advanced life forms and their spacecraft. It must be emphasized that they appear to pose no threat to humanity or Earth, but instead are quite concerned about our own unchecked war-making capabilities and violence, combined with our early attempts at the exploration of space. Since the dawn of the nuclear era, these extraterrestrial civilizations have made concerted efforts to do reconnaissance at all known space and nuclear facilities. And it goes on from there. I mean, you can kind of get the gist of it. And we are gonna take a break here. We got to do that. So we're gonna be right back with more. Maybe I'll finish this document or the address. The address is interesting. So yeah, maybe I'll do that when we get back. Again, patreon.com/Ryan Singer. And we're back. Okay, let's just finish this recommended address to the world, written by Greer and his team. Let's just backtrack a couple sentences. Since the dawn of the nuclear era, these extraterrestrial civilizations have made concerted efforts to do reconnaissance at all known space and nuclear facilities. In some cases, these facilities have been penetrated by ET craft and our nuclear missiles rendered inoperable. Such incursions appear designed to warn us not to use these world-destroying nuclear weapons and are not acts of hostility. They also appear concerned with the rapid decay of our biosphere and environment and the extinction of many species on Earth. Since World War II, there have been extremely secretive and mostly illegal programs studying the energy, communication, and propulsion systems of these ET civilizations. We are currently in the process of correcting these unconstitutional and illegal operations and ensuring their proper oversight. It is time for us to disclose these momentous scientific findings to you. These technologies have the potential, if used only for peaceful purposes, to give us a new and sustainable civilization on Earth, free of poverty and pollution, and with abundant low-cost energy within a generation. Within a generation. I just want to make sure you heard that part. That's, that's where the juice is on this. How quickly it'll happen. These technologies will greatly advance the world economy and create boundless growth and opportunities previously undreamed of. However, if used for destructive and violent purposes, these same technologies could end our civilization. The time has arrived for the truth to be known. We are not alone in the universe. It is time for humanity to become a mature, peaceful civilization and take its place in the cosmos with other advanced peoples from other star systems. To this end, I call on the world community, other world leaders, and all the people of Earth to come together and begin a new golden age on Earth. We must make open, peaceful contact and initiate diplomatic ties to these other worlds. We must do this as all the children of Earth, and not just one nation. All nations and people of Earth must be represented and empowered in this process. We must formally commit to keeping all weapons out of space and going only into space for peaceful purposes that benefit all of humanity. We must bring forth these advanced energy and propulsion technologies so that the world's environment and people benefit. We must all agree to never allow these new technologies to be used as weapons of war. And we must commit amongst ourselves that if any nation or group attempts to use these technologies for violent or destructive purposes, every nation and people on Earth will rise up to immediately stop it. We face a choice. If we do nothing, our environment and civilization will degrade and we may face extinction. If we use this new knowledge and science for war and destruction, we will surely also perish. But if we establish a world of peace and security, humanity can now advance as a civilization that is sustainable, just, and worthy of exploring the universe. This is the singular and greatest challenge of our time: to establish world peace and to create a new sustainable civilization. Once we have achieved this foundation of peace, prosperity, and justice, we have learned that these other worlds will welcome us into the cosmos with open arms and hearts. So, my fellow Americans and citizens of Earth, let us work together to achieve this destiny for humanity, an enlightened, peaceful world that joins her place among the other people of the cosmos. For this is the only possible good future for humanity. It is time for us to unite as a people and create that good future now. So that's the recommended address, right? So it's interesting here. There's a couple things that, obviously stand out. One of them is this, it's almost, it does have a utopian ideal vibe, right? It is, as the kids would say, giving utopia here. Now, what we need to keep in mind, and I think is important to remember, is there are certain key words and phrases in here that the conspiratorially minded person would point to. Oh, New World Order. They want us to be one Earth talking to them and not America or something, right? This idea that we must remain separate, these separatists, or whatever we want to call them. That's I'm sure that rung some bells for those people who think that way. And they think that the New World Order, the one world government, is evil and some grand conspiratorial thing to control them. Meanwhile, these same people would happily have their tax money go to funding wars against others, right? So pick a side, I guess, is what they want you to do. When there isn't sides, there's one side, right? There's the side of life, and that's truly the only side there is to choose, the side of life and the side of, and not even people, it's the side of life, right? Because we're talking about the degradation of our biosphere, like they mentioned, due to climate change and other reasons. There is, through just trash, pollution. I mean, we're talking one generation, all of this stuff can change. That is pretty wild to think about, right? And it sounds like the music came on here. So we're going to do a short break. These will all be short from here on out, I think, you know what I mean? Just hit that fast forward button once or twice and you'll be back into the program. And we're going to get back and we're going to discuss more about the Disclosure Project, and all that is happening in the world of the paranormal. And, we got to give a shout out to the lunar eclipse. We'll be right back. Okay, and we have returned. I hope you've returned. This is Ryan Singer. We're, some dark material here tonight. The Wheel of Time is back out on Amazon Prime. I am not paid to promote that. It's a fantasy series that I have quite enjoyed. I'll probably have to rewatch some of the previous season just to get up to speed on it. Don't know if you've checked that out, but it's pretty rad. Yeah, so that that's happening. I mean, are you watching Jack Reacher? Are you watching Reacher? I love Reacher. I mean, he's a psychopath, but he's on the side of good, I suppose, kind of like Dexter, maybe. So enjoy Reacher. Watching Severance. What a show. What a mind-boggling, maddening, so enjoyable, all simultaneously. So yeah, I'm actually friends with one of the people who's involved in that show, and it's just, brilliant piece of work. Brilliant piece of work. So yeah, I hope you're doing well. Did you watch that lunar? Did you? Were you streaming the lunar eclipse last night? I don't know if you had a chance to check out the lunar eclipse last night. It was out pretty late for East Coast style people, but I definitely did. It was awesome. I was downtown Los Angeles. There was a place called Cole's. They claim to have invented the French dip sandwich. And if you watch a TV show called The Lincoln Lawyer, and I think it was even referenced in Bosch, these are very LA-centric television programs. They even have an episode where they get into it. It's filmed at Kohl's. And they also, shout out to Philippe's. I mean, they have an incredible French dip as well. Who created the French dip? You know, we're not going to get into that argument here tonight. But Kohl's is a bar, and they have an amazing French dip sandwich and garlic tater tots that are to die for. And reasonably priced draft beer, if you're into that kind of thing. Which, I like to have a blonde every once in a while. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. Or an IPA. I like to fire it up, you know. I like to get riled up every once in a while by having a French dip with a beer. I mean, getting crazy over here and throwing that spicy mustard on there and just getting wilding out with some spicy mustard. The lunar eclipse on a full moon was the end of, according to my friend and yours, Dr. Rebecca Foster, one of the most powerful manifestation periods, 2-week period from the new moon when I was in Florida to the full moon. Hopefully you did some manifesting during that period. I had a couple things that I was manifesting. One of them specifically I will share with you. I was manifesting not riches or abundance or anything like that. I was manifesting clarity and focus on prioritizing which project moving forward, right? So that was one of the things I manifested. Happy to say manifestation is real. So that's just one of the things I manifested. So talking with a friend, they had a very immediate manifestation during this period without even realizing that it was a period for such a thing. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's not too late. You can probably still get one in after the buzzer here. You can always do that. Maybe it's time to let go of something right now. So maybe you'll let go of something faster than you ever thought after this really intense manifestation period. That was really rad. So, hopefully you're enjoying. And you know me, I'm a moon guy, right? So, I obey the moon. I obey her beck and call. So I'm looking forward to, 2 weeks from now, roughly 2 weeks from now, when the new moon shows back up. I mean, because you know me, I am a new moon kind of guy. March 29th, I think officially is the new moon. 3:55 a.m. Well, good news for me is I'm usually up at 3:55 a.m. lately. I have been staying up super late for some reason, even though I was on East Coast time and I was, by West Coast standards, going to bed and earlier and staying up and getting up earlier, but that has just swung the opposite direction. I don't know what's going on over here, but it had something to do with the full moon and its energy. So yeah, anyway, don't forget to manifest, right? Write something on a piece of paper and then burn it. Yeah, that's all you got to do. And release it. It's a symbolic releasing of the thing and let the universe do the job. Let them do the work, right, on that. So, I guess you're getting into magic, getting into some magic when we talk about that kind of thing. So what is happening? What is moving forward? Well, we're moving forward with a big comedy tour. I want you to go to ryansaroncomedy.com. You can check the tour section there. I'm going to be putting more dates there. I will be hitting Austin, Texas. It's going to be, I haven't been to Austin in years. We're going to be doing a very special, fun show in Austin, Texas. And it's going to be at a former, someone who's been a guest on this program previously. We're going to be doing the show at their place. Once I have more information about that, I'll let you know. But I'll be hitting Taos, New Mexico. I'll be hitting Austin. I'm hopefully going to be hitting the Gulf Shores area. We're talking New Orleans. We're talking some other places, Mobile, maybe Hattiesburg, other things like that as well this summer. We got a lot of dates coming in. I'm working on it, baby. I want to be on the road for 2 straight full months, doing a ton of shows, kind of going a little bit crazy before I film the special. Hopefully, we're going to be doing that, and it looks like we're going to be. Hopefully, I'll know more tomorrow if it's going to be in Indianapolis or not. So, I'll keep you posted. But lots of fun stuff. And then the documentary is getting ready to start getting cranked. So, about Florida. I will be finishing the music on the Fitz documentary, for those wondering. Friends in the Sky, the investigation at Mutilation Ranch. Hopefully by the end of next week, that movie will be finished. And then we're going to start setting up, potentially, screenings at independent movie theaters in different parts of the country. So that could be really fun. And obviously, I'll keep you posted about that as well. And then it's off to the Investigation of Florida documentary. Wow. I mean, I think most of my energy is going to be focused on preparing for the stand-up and doing that kind of thing. Like I said, regarding my manifestation about clarity and projects moving forward, it's going to be that. I'm going to be diverting most of my attention to, making sure that the podcast, we can get a couple episodes out each week, and then working on the stand-up special. And the documentary will kind of take, a back seat until then, while we also get this book finished. That'll be coming out this year. And the documentary will be coming out next year at some point. So, yeah. So we're up to speed on all that. And there's other things, too. But there's other things I can't talk about because they're so early on that it's just, there's no point in really even mentioning. Are you watching Attack the Wax? Me and my, buddy Dave Waite ripping open old packs of cards. We're having a ton of fun doing that. We do that every Tuesday. You can see those videos. Anyway, I want to talk about this disclosure thing. There seems to be a lull, right? There seemed to be a real hotbed of activity happening a few weeks back, and it seems to have simmered. What is the reason for the great simmering right now? I don't know the answer to that question, right? But I will tell you this. Usually, a great simmering period prefaces a great boil. So, I believe my prediction at the end of the year, I think I did my first predictions ever, that by the middle or the end of 2026, we'd be living in a completely different world as far as our understanding of what UFOs and aliens are. I still stand by that. I feel as each week passes, I feel more attuned to that thought and that feeling that I had in that moment, talking about that. And obviously it is from years and years of interest in this matter and following it pretty closely. But as you know, there's so much stuff going on in the world of paranormal, whether it's aliens, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, to actually stay at the very tip of the, let's just say tip of the spear, for lack of a better analogy at this point, about everything that's happening, the breaking news, and being up to date on all the latest greatest. In all of these, they're all their own worlds separately. So to stay at the tip of the spear on all of these worlds, on the information spear, breaking news, breakthroughs, etc., not to mention parapsychology, things like that, or remote viewing, or it's nearly impossible for one person to do that. Now, having said that, we do our best over here to try to keep it all going. I just got my buddy Jim Vernon, who's been on the program, just sent me a text while I was recording here about a new book that came out, and I got to try to interview this guy. We'll try to get John Michael Greer. I mean, that's a happy coincidence there. We're talking about Dr. Greer, Stephen Greer so much, but he wrote a book, Monsters. I guess this is his third edition. An Investigator's Guide to Magical Beings. So yeah, that's just when I was like, I'm not buying any more books right now. Here we go. We're buying another book, clearly. We're going to be right back after this short break. And I'm back. So yeah, we're going to put a bow on this episode here. We still got a little more to talk about. I'm so excited because I have a mail day coming tomorrow. I don't know if you know what mail day is. You order something on the internet and it shows up in the mail. That's what I call mail day. It's a phrase from the baseball world, baseball card collecting, or the card collecting world. Mail day is the most exciting day because the cards you wanted finally show up, or the card you wanted finally arrives. So it's a very exciting moment. It's kind of like Christmas. I have a mail day coming tomorrow that is some notebooks I ordered. So I can't wait to get this package of little tiny notebooks. Little, like the notebooks you can carry in your back pocket. My last one got filled up a while ago, and I've been just kind of trying to ride around and so I'm like, just got to get them. I like the ones that don't have like the little binding anyway, but I don't want them to all be the same color, just a boring gray or something. So I need colorful things. Anyway, so that's very exciting. I'm very excited. I just remembered, I looked at my little notebook and I was just, oh my God, I can't wait. I got this showing up tomorrow. Also, Paranormal Carnival. Did you check out episode 2? Okay, I gotta let you know that, there was some technical difficulties on the stream, and it was very frustrating to me. I couldn't try to pay attention to a Twitch stream, a YouTube stream, and the conversation that was happening through Zoom, that I was routing through this OBS software back out to Twitch and YouTube. And I don't know if the internet here is strong enough for everything that I was trying to do. So I'm going to be making tweaks. The next one will be on April 8th, 4/8, which is the second Tuesday of every month. That'll be the next Paranormal Carnival. Thank you to everybody who popped in. We had a bunch of great guests pop in, right? So, and the conversation was about the comedy's role in the paranormal, comedy and the high strange, right? And as you know, it's near and dear to my heart. So that's kind of where the conversation launched from. Then we did some Zener card tricks, some things like that. Not tricks, but we were testing out some Zener cards at the end. It was a ton of fun. The Paranormal Carnival, you can find that podcast everywhere podcasts can be found now. So that is a new monthly podcast I'm doing. That will be a live stream and then come out as audio, or you can watch the video on YouTube. The YouTube video will be there. It is there. I went back and had to re-edit it and all kinds of things because the stream wasn't working. It was glitchy. So I just put up the video straight from Zoom with some audio that's pretty clean. Now, there is a trick in getting everybody's microphones to be the same level. And we were having issues with one of the guest microphones for a minute. But I promise you that doesn't happen the whole time. So bear with me on that. And you'll get through it and it'll be great. And it's worth it. So, yeah, there's still tweaks. I'm a one-person show over here. Nigel has been on vacation. So Nigel wasn't here to help me the time I needed Nigel the most. I'm running a live stream event, all kinds of moving parts in Nigel's. I think he was in Bali. I don't know where, or Indianapolis, where was Memphis? I can't remember. I think he said something about wanting to see Elvis had a vacation house somewhere. So he wasn't in Graceland. I don't know. Elvis had a cousin who was one of the world's preeminent woodworkers and wanted to see their workshop or something. We'll have to get that information from Nigel when he returns from his much-needed vacation, from what he told me. Any hoodles. So, yeah, one of the interesting things that we covered in Paranormal Carnival episode 2 was, what are we using right now for divination? What's our go-to kind of thing that we're using to our tool, our methodology of, predicting the future for ourselves, or channeling our intuition into something more practical that we can see and then use as a tool. And there were so many different interesting ideas there. One of them was trash therapy. Finding pieces of trash when you're out walking around and seeing what messages come through. That was from Mala Luna. And, Jessica, who Jessica Gillis, you've heard her on the program multiple times with Oscar. Was talking about elemental, using the elements, which I thought was really, really fascinating as well. So, I'd be curious what you're using right now. I have moved a rune chart right in front of my face on my desk so I can familiarize myself with the runes in a more deeply intimate way. Because I do have a set of runes, I've just never really used them. And I have a friend who I need to actually talk about who casts runes. So, or talk to, not talk about. So we've been trying to do an interview for literally probably 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. I don't know how long. It's been a long time. It's long overdue to have a runes chat. So we'll get there. My favorite rune is Rad, the wheel. I have a necklace with Rad on it, with the wheel. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know what you're using, but literally you could use anything. Anything that speaks to you, right, is what you can use for divination. Now, can you get into a meditation? Can you do the gateway experience meditations? Yes, you can do that. And you can learn how to astral project and remote view. You could probably even figure out a way to be doing divination inside that world, which is actually a really fun idea. So, which is something I will be trying to do myself at some point, now that I've said it out loud. That is a really fun, fascinating idea. But something that I have come to realize recently is almost every person, now granted this is probably just because of who I am, but every person I end up talking with and having any kind of extended conversation with is into some weirdo stuff in the best way possible. And it seems, maybe because I live in Los Angeles, California, or when I travel and do shows, it's people who are at shows. It seems almost every single person anymore has inclinations towards the weird, which to me is great because it didn't always used to be that way. I think what we're experiencing, or what I'm experiencing, is more people are open about their inclinations towards the weird than they maybe had been in the past. That the number of people into or using this woo-woo stuff, it hasn't dramatically increased nearly as much as one might anticipate. But what has dramatically increased is people talking about it with people they don't really know. I think that is probably more likely what we're experiencing than the other. That's not to say there has not been an increase, because I believe there has been. When you look at the world in general, with the rise of disclosure, UFOs, aliens, in the conversation publicly a lot more, the weird has filtered in. It has become, the woo has become the who knew. This has been here the whole time, right? So that's what we're dealing with, I think, right? So where does it lead? Where does it go? The old systems are being rattled and they are being shook and pieces are falling off and the ground is unstable. And we're seeing that manifest itself in so many ways. We're seeing it manifest itself in the temperament of systems, of the mood of structures, right? I mean, look at the United States government right now. It's like kind of a 180 about where it's been for a long, long time. Friends are now being treated as enemies. There's a great gutting happening. There is chaos. There are nefarious players taking advantage of loopholes in systems to be exploited in ways that haven't been done previously. The illusion of decorum and civility have been thrown out the window. And I think what can be, at least best understood by me as this is that we've talked about this for a long time, about the death rattle, right? And the screaming of like something hanging on for dear life when it knows it's all slipping away. And, that's not a new theme on the show over here about what we think is happening. Now, is it accurate? I guess time will tell. We don't know. It's not like this is a new concept. This is just something that is, natural when something is, clinging to dear life. It will be screaming bloody murder. And it will be overreacting. And white people are going to be a minority in the United States by the year 2045. So to me, there's no accident that there's been this crazy embracing of like just brutal white supremacist, outdated, bigoted, racist ideals. And why is that? Well, probably because certain people in power who have made these power structures are worried that when they're no longer in the majority, that whoever is will be treating the minorities like they treated the minorities in the past. And we're talking about the people in power here. We're not talking about just the everyday person who's your neighbor. So keep that in mind. So I think that is pretty interesting and fascinating to watch that unfold. And, like we've said before, there's just one thing to be a pacifist. It's another thing to be a passive pacifist. You have to, be an active pacifist. And, using whatever tools you have at your disposal to do what you think is right. And speaking up for the downtrodden, speaking up for those less fortunate, those are important things. White supremacy and fascism will never have a seat at the table over here. I don't need to go on podcasts that promote that stuff. Who cares about, how many people listen to a certain podcast if it's not that important. I don't, some people just will do what they do. They want clicks, they want views, they want listens, and they'll do whatever it takes to try to make money. It's like, who cares about money, man? Like, it's never been that important to me, and it never will be. So, but what is important is, trying to get to the bottom of it, man, and trying to be in the moment, trying to, Let's figure it out. And there's comfort in community. And like Greer says in, like the Disclosure Project, we need to be one earth. We need to be one people. And that's not a bad word. It's so weird that the Antichrist too, like if you know anything about the Christian lure of the Antichrist, we'll get into that later. That actually would be a fun episode to do. Maybe we'll do that next week. Anyway, ryansingercomedy.com/tour, or just go to ryansingercomedy.com and click on the tour thing. You'll find my dates. Rising on Instagram. Paranormal Carnival, new podcast. Please go like and subscribe to the new pod. Once a month as a live stream. Find me on YouTube or Twitch. Ryan Singer Comedy. And if I don't see you at a live show this summer, I'll be everywhere, literally everywhere. So come see me before we film another special. That'll have some whimsy will be in the title of that somehow. Anyway, if I don't see you at a live show, I'll see you at the watering hole on the astral plane. I love you. Hope you love yourself.